In 2012, Fiat announced that they would be splitting up with Tata Motors and going solo in the Indian market once again. That meant they would have to set up a new distribution network, they would have to come up with new products and of course refresh existing products. In 2014, we've got the Linea facelift. How significant a change is this? Let's find out. Considering that it's taken 5 years for the Linea to get its first major upgrade, when you look at the cosmetic changes on the outside, they don't seem all that overwhelming. At the front, there's a new 2-bar grille and a redesigned bumper that has a much larger air dam. As you can see, there is an abundance of chrome there, even on the flanks and especially at the rear. There's also a new rear bumper that sports a diffuser-like design. Fiat has made all these changes without making any expensive alterations to the sheet metal. But the changed bumpers have added 36mm to the overall length. Apart from all this, the Linea gets 16-inch alloy wheels which look smart and remind us of propellers. And then there are the ORVM mounted indicators. Overall, it seems like the classy simplicity of the old car has been replaced with a more obviously premium look. Now let's step inside. The new design for the dashboard has made a world of a difference to the ambiance. Just the soft flowing lines, the look, it's all very Italian, isn't it? And then there's this soft plastic here, the flush mounted music system with the black surround, all of it feels so premium. It's even extended here top to the stowage box that you have and the aircon vents, and a nice touch small details like the boot release switch, very handy and very cool. The Aircon Controls are low down over here, and these are the familiar controls we've seen on the Linea before. The door pad design is the same as before, but you can see that the plastics do feel better. Then of course there's this new instrument cluster which gets this floating hood, twin ring dials with nice chrome accents and a large digital display, all of which is functional and cool. As before, the equipment list boasts of Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary inputs, rain sensing wipers, auto on and off headlamps, and Fiat has now even added cruise control to the list. And it also gets beautiful ambient lighting which can be seen at night. At the rear, you get air conditioning vents and a sun blind to pamper the passengers. Now the Linea's back seat is really impressive. I mean, just look at this seat base. Almost extends all the way to my knees, has fantastic under-thigh support. And knee room is decent, as is headroom. So unless you're tall, you are going to find this back seat really quite comfortable. But it's quite clear that the Linea is short on headroom and legroom when compared to the competition in this segment. The diesel motor is the 1.3 multi-jet mated to a 5-speed manual transmission. We've seen it several times before and it has been carried over unchanged, so it feels very familiar to drive. Below 2000 RPM, responses aren't particularly snappy, and even past that, it's not like you get a massive slug of torque. But what you do get is linear, easy to use power delivery. However, its 92 bhp and 21.3 kilograms of torque put it at a disadvantage in this class. Now, if you want something particularly exciting or quick to drive, then this motor might not be it. What's also been carried over unchanged is the suspension, and in this case, that's no bad thing. The ride quality on the Linea is just astonishing. It makes smooth roads feel velvety, and broken sections, they stop existing. It's like it's tarmacking the road ahead of you. And really bad sections, they just bother you slightly. And despite its healthy 190mm of ground clearance, the driving dynamics are well polished. And you can put them to great use when you hop into the 1.4-litre turbocharged 112 bhp petrol Linea. The tires offer a lot of grip, and the suspension, despite offering a lot of ride comfort, offer a lot of composure too. The car doesn't just roll around corners. And even though this motor is also unchanged, it remains impressive even today. Sure, since it is turbocharged, it does feel a bit sluggish under 1500 RPM. But when the needle crosses that 2000 RPM mark and you get the full boost from the turbo, the T-Jet just shoots forward. This motor has a lusty mid-range and feels thrilling to drive on an open road. But at the same time, it is smooth and drivable in city traffic. So the Linea hasn't had an extensive overhaul, but the few changes have made a world of a difference to its appeal. Fiat is expected to hike the price for the Linea only slightly for this facelifted version. And along with an ever-increasing dealership network, the Linea's competitiveness in the segment only grows stronger. So when you combine all of that, it becomes quite clear that now the Fiat Linea has what it takes to claw its way back up in the mid-size saloon segment.